everyone, welcome back. Fubar here, and today we are doing a officer tier list and pairing guide for the rocket launcher and ATG. So the ATG has less pairings that I recommend and less valuable options I feel. So that we're going to start with the ATG first. So the ATG is a mainly anti-armor artillery piece that was very heavily focused on taking out SH units, which is very highly undervalued right now. That is scheduled for a rework where it will have AA mode in the future. So when that happens, it may regain value, but right now, not many people are using it. I know there is some people out there who absolutely love the unit, but for me, and many others, we do not like the unit, but I do know some very valuable pairings for this unit and this way I can now share them with you. So what I'm going to recommend is when you first start the game and you first load in, your very first pairing I would actually recommend to it would be Percy and also Death Adder. Now, Death Adder's A tier, Percy's A tier, because as they develop into the game later on, they fall off as far as value. And but however, their skills are still very valuable. So the next pairing I would use after that on an ATG would actually hold up to 182 days, and then until we unlock Golden Eagle. Now, what I would do for a pairing here would be Golden Eagle with Death Adder, or Golden Eagle and War Machine, because War Machine increases the reload time and he has pretty decent damage. Now, the next pairing that I'm going to suggest comes to at 300 days when we unlock Argent Flame. Argent Flame is a very defensive artillery officer, therefore, he'll be very effective on the ATG and also other artillery pieces. But the main thing is that he has to be the leader of the troop, and he's going to give an extra 25% skill damage to his um, aid officer in that troop. So he'll do 1500 damage coefficient, give a 25% skill damage buff to his aid. He'll buff your damage resist by 20%, which is only one of two officers that offer this, which is Lady Justice and also Argent Flame. He will buff your garrison damage by 35%, and he'll buff your firepower of your artillery by 40%. His awakened skill is that he fires off an artillery shell with a damage coefficient of 1500, and if this officer is in an artillery troop, the skill also damages up to 3 enemy ground force targets within one map grid of the original target. So the damage coefficient will be 700 for the first additional target, then 20% less for each additional troop. And again, it talks about the skill damage being buffed on the aid. So that is a very valuable officer for the ATG, I feel, and I would pair him with Golden Eagle. And this would be your ideal pairing after 300 days. And the reason why is because Golden Eagle's tactical skill does 1500 damage, but every unit in the game that is a tank unit, like helicopter, MBT, light tank, has some form of armor. And for every 100 millimeter armor thickness the enemy has, the skill will then increase in damage by 80 per 100 millimeters of armor. So this can very easily stack up to being 2400 extra, 240 extra skill damage to almost 400 or a little bit more. And on top of that, he's getting a skill damage buff by 25% from Argent Flame. So this is going to increase that gap in the damage. And then on top of that, he does additional officer troop damage to tanks and helicopters. He has a critical strike chance of 10%. And he also offers a base damage resist buff of 10%, which this skill can be shared to another officer, which is highly valuable. And he also offers a damage resist buff of 15%. His awakened skill, though, is where it gets very, very interesting. This officer's troop deals 20% extra damage with normal attacks, and its normal attacks ignore 10% of enemies' damage resist. Now, when the goal of the ATG and is being used on base defense, so you want to be able to shred your armored targets as fast as possible, and that's why I've chose this pairing. And the fact that his awakened skill, the normal attacks will ignore the damage resist by 10% and deal an extra 20% damage is a big deal. And that the fact that his main tactical skill increases damage per 100 millimeters of armor, this is going to quickly shred through your enemy units that is armored and then get you right into the firing line of their artillery pieces. So this is very, very handy and very good to have for an artillery troop. And Golden Eagle is one of the strongest versatile officers in the game, my opinion. Between him and Argent Flame are both S class, so he is definitely worth the investment. And as you can see, I'm almost done with Golden Eagle. I have 180, I think, yeah, 185 left statues to go, and then he's done. So with that said, that will be it for the ATG. Now for the rocket launcher. Recently, it was confirmed to me that if you pair Antonina with Lady Liberté, you do not get to hit at 5 map grids. So I'm going to say this right now. You cannot hit 5 map grids with an RL. I recently had this confirmed by someone who um, does have Lady Liberty unlocked and she cannot strike at 5 grids with this officer. And the person was 44 Mag, aka Antoine Lee Cleric. As you guys know, I've done an interview with him recently, and we've done a couple of videos now. So, on to the legacy days. So, when you first start in, the very best officer pairing you could put on a rocket truck, in my opinion, will be Antonina Shevchenko and War Machine. Reason why this pairing is so powerful is because if you prioritize Antonina, she'll give the RL from a 3 grid range to a 4 grid range. She has great skill damage and buffs the unit very well. Also, with War Machine, now the RL has a faster fire rate by up to 20% at all times. So this is very good. He buffs the firepower, the damage of the unit, and he has good skill damage. So this is a very potent pairing that will work very well on an RL. And the trick, the long reload of the RL, you have to move it. So once it fires at the 3 second mark or the 2 second mark, you got to move it a grid, and then it'll reload at 2 seconds. Okay. Now once you hit 182 days, there's not many more new artillery officers that come into play, but we do have. I don't know when Saber of the Nation comes into play as far as an exclusive lounge officer, but he is the next best bet once he is available. Even though he's an exclusive lounge, take the time to unlock him and work on him because he's a very heavily field oriented artillery officer where he does additional damage per grid out. He has a chance to instantly refire his tactical skill. He increases damage resist. He does an additional damage to tanks and helicopters. He does 25% additional damage to enemy troops that are below 50%. Very powerful, especially with paired with Antonina. And once you hit 300 days, you compare Antonina with Eye of Providence. For the just the fast ratio of killing bases, it does do good skill damage as well towards enemy troops, and that would be S tier. You could pair the RL with Argent Flame. Even though I don't recommend it, it still is a potent pairing. And of course, you can use Lady Liberty if after you have Saber of the Nation awakened. I would recommend her and Saber of the Nation together. Now, most of these officers that I have just messaged are opened at the 300-day mark, and most of them are for artillery S class, in my opinion. Especially the exclusive lounge officers, even though they are hard to get, they are worth the time it takes to get there. I'm not saying go break your bank and go max them out in 2 runs of the exclusive round. I'm saying take your time, chip away at them, and you'll be happy with that. Okay. So with that said, this is we're gonna call that here. Now, recently I have opened up a community Discord that I'm inviting all other content creators and anyone who wants to be join the community. It's going to be a giant information hub for where anything you want to find about Warpath you can, and also it's the goal for you guys to make new friends, open up to do some recruiting and meet new people, and get to get more make more bonds within the game of Warpath. And also, you can share your troops there too, so that way you can show what other people are using and doing. So, with that said, this is Fubar. Look look for the Discord link down below. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, I got your 6. Have a great day. Peace.